Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them, and I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. This book I love this book. It is a complete sense of inspiration to me, and because it is Inktober, I am going to we're going to look at this book as part of October, where I'm covering a bunch of black and white issues. And this is Creepy's stories drawn by Bernie Wrightson here. It is in black and white, however, the cover, of course, is colored, and you can see some of the dual tones and dual shades being applied here. So, here we go. So Bernie Wrightson, here's Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat. Bernie Wrightson is, by the way, rest in peace, is quite the draftsman, and he did some work for Creepy and Eerie and all those horror magazines during the 60s and 70s. Although I think these stories were from the 70s, it is quite delicious here. Of course, Wrightson is known for the Frankenstein, and I do have that. However, I am not. I don't think I found it in a digital. So a zombie cat or a possessed cat. I don't know. So these stories are quite they're very well rendered, and look at how much this guy had to have been working with some kind of pen, because he's just out here slashing away. And if you have seen the look at this. And if you have seen the Frankenstein, I'll see if I can find it in digital. It's delicious. It is just such a beautiful work of art. This guy can draw so well. Um, this one, it looks like he's using ink wash for this story here. So Bernie Wrightson is someone who can use different mediums. Now, Bernie Wrightson really didn't do much for Marvel and DC. He did a two limited series, and I don't mean like Swamp Thing. I know he did Swamp Thing, but that was really still mostly horror. But he did a JLA called a story called The Weird with Jim Starlin, and that was 4 issues. And then he did Batman 4 issue story called The Cult, also with Jim Starlin. And then with Marvel, also with Jim Starlin, he did a Punisher POV series. And then he also did a Punisher Marvel Knights limited series. That is about all I can think of that he did for the big two. So, he is quite the draftsman. Um, Different styles. So, so these creepy stories are horror stories. So that's what we're looking at here. And this is more cartoon type art that he is employing. So we're just keep going here. Again, we're just concentrating on the art. Look at that. Wow. His art is a spectacular. Hopefully I can find that Frankenstein one digitally. Um I know that Google has a bunch of images in there, but I just haven't been able to find that story. I bought that book in the when I was in high school. No, not true. Actually, I didn't buy that book. So, my our library in high school had that book, and I don't think I ever returned it. So, all right. And so the first one was his creepy stories, and now the eerie stories. And so, yes, I'm not concentrating on what's going on here. We're not really reading them. We're just taking a look at his art. That is the whole purpose of this video. Man, look at this. Just, oh, what a draftsman. That is something. How he just does these. Look at these waves. Just lines this way and then lines and then just, wow. If you have never seen his Frankenstein book, like I've mentioned, go to Google and type in Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein, and you'll see a bunch of his images. Um, it's amazing. So we're about a little over halfway with this book. And wow. So this is dual tones being applied here in this story. Look at this from 1974. This is the year I was born. So this story is 51 years ago. My goodness. So Bernie Wrightson has passed away a while ago. So rest in peace. This guy is a legend. Absolutely beautiful rendering. Look, I mean, and just how he each issue is almost done in such a different style. This guy could draw any which way. Look at this. He does lines this way for this, and then this way for the hand. Just wow. Someone that reminds me of Bernie Wrightson is Kelly Jones. Now, Kelly Jones draws with a nice thick brush. Kelly Jones doesn't really do too much of the line work. He's more into laying the big, heavy blacks into the page more than he is into sculpting an image the way he does with all this, the way Bernie Wrightson does. But his art, to me, is very similar. Mostly he does this one's in color, so looks like we got some color here, which is, whatever. So it does look like we have some color here. Almost looks like a Frankenstein story. And so this must be some of the covers that he did for the magazines. Since we're looking at this, we may that is kind of cool. We may as well. And so this is also with a screen tone being applied here. Or not screen tone, sorry, dual tones. So hopefully I can find that Frankenstein story. Just so amazing. There are these absolutely incredible draftsmen like Barry Windsor Smith and Bernie Wrightson and Kelly Jones, even who I just mentioned. But there's so many artists that whose work I really enjoy, and Bernie Wrightson is definitely one of them. I think he was always known for this horror book, or horror stories. But man, he would have done great anywhere. That Batman story he did was amazing. The look at these clouds. Wow. Um, he could have drawn anything. I think he just preferred horror. So there we go. So Bernie Wrightson doing his creepy. So I'll continue doing this throughout the month of October with just some black and white stories. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.